The first thing that I must say before going over these questions is that over the past year, my interest in joining the industry has been lost, and therefore these answers will be answered if I was joining the industry. This, of course, will draw some from some reality, as I originally was aiming to go into the industry before I lost interest and had made plans. First question, what job role were you aiming for in the industry, and how does your show reel demonstrate your aims? The job role I was working towards was the role of an environment or prop artist for a smaller independent studio. Most of the work that I'd done over the past few years had been aimed towards this goal, and the end, as this was what I was best in terms of modelling. To this end, my show reel consists of two main 3D environment pieces that I worked on from game development and A3D this term. The first of these environments, my job was to build up the main areas of the level, such as the walls and the ceilings, while placing all the objects that I'd got from the other modelers and putting those within the scene as well. The second of the environments is my most current work from A3D, which I built with another team member. And for that one, I had to build the level out again, place props, and I also built more of the objects this time. These two pieces, I feel, demonstrate my ability to put together cohesive environments and using some more advanced techniques such as emissive maps. Second question, what are you most proud of in your portfolio and why? In the portfolio, I think that I'm most proud of the work that I did in game development module, as for it, I had to keep a lot of work together. I was getting a lot of stuff from other people, and keeping it together and putting it together was quite a task. Although, like many of the props weren't built by me personally, as it was a fairly big team working on it, I had a hand in directing what was needed to be done, due to actually building the levels and knowing where there were empty gaps and what needed to be built. Along with this, also I built a few of the other bigger pieces that needed to be done. This gave me the most experience in UDK, and I feel for a bigger scale project it came out fairly well. Third question, explain your approach to making this aspect to your portfolio. My approach for that particular piece of work was to figure out reference for actual buildings and rooms, and then break them down for specifically what we would need for each room to make it look how it should. This allowed me to know exactly what pieces I needed and at the same time allow it to look like a realistic setting. This, I feel, made the scene look more like it should do in real life while not pushing it to the extent of super realism, and able to being able to give it a bit of my own flair. Question 4. What are you least proud of in your portfolio and why have you included it? As I've used two main pieces of work, which are the two bigger environment pieces I've done in recent memory, I would say that probably the A3D one is probably my least favourite of the two. I feel this was due to a loss of interest at the start of the year. I didn't really push myself to do the best work I could have done, and due to this, I think it showed within the final product of that. I wouldn't say that the scene looks bad by any means, but rather that if I'd done certain things differently during the production and put more effort into it and had found it a bit more interesting, I feel as if I could have got a lot more out of it than we did get at the end. Question 5, is there anything you would have done differently? If I could have done anything differently within the pieces I've shown, it would probably be to spend some more time on the A3D work to get it to where I would want it to be. I feel as if I had the motivation to push myself to do it, I probably could have made the scene look really, really good. But because of that, I feel as if it didn't live up to its fullest potential of what it could have looked like. Overall, of course, I feel as if I'd focused my efforts more on things that excited me more, such as scenes and things that excited me, or I was into. I could have made better scenes out of it, as I would have been more motivated to actually work on it and get a better result for it. If I could go back, I probably would have changed at the start of the course to something else within the industry, possibly programming, which may have piqued my interest in more. Question 6. What is the main thing you've learned from the process of portfolio creation? The main thing that I've learned from the process of making this portfolio is that in order to make a good one, you need to create it for a specific purpose. And by this I mean, if I'm applying, for example, to a driving game maker, I'd want to show environments that would work within a driving game and not something completely unrelated, for example, like a platform or something like that. One other thing that I've learned from this is that the difference between a good portfolio and a bad portfolio can mean the difference between getting a job in the industry and not getting one. And if I were to pursue a career in the industry, I would try and make all of the work that is in my portfolio up to scratch to what it should be, rather than looking for a job opening and then quickly building something for the task. I would build up something that looks really good, that I could use for specific purposes.